Breakfast and brilliant ideas, coffee and conversation, we're serving up that and much more at IBJ Media's events. Join us at an upcoming event and kickstart your day with fresh ideas and new connections. Check out our event lineup and register now at ibj.com/RSVP.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. Refreshed Tech, a startup that purchases used computers, phones, and other electronic devices and refurbishes them before putting them back on the market, has grown from 20 employees in a 7,000 square foot facility in Angola in 2022 to 130 workers at a new 105,000 square foot location in the nearby town of Ashley. CEO Kyle Wainwright said growing demand for refurbished devices, especially among schools, has helped drive that growth.
COVID really built up this one-to-one need for every student to have a device, to be able to take a device home, to be able to get on the internet and do their schoolwork. And now we're seeing a lot of those devices come out and need to find a second life for them so that they don't end up in the landfill.
The company is adding a small number of jobs as it ramps up for the holiday season. Pendleton-based food waste recycling company Nutrition 101 is adding to its portfolio with the acquisition of Value Feeds, a dairy upcycling company headquartered in Dallas, Texas. Financial terms of the deal are not being disclosed, though Value Feeds' 12 employees will be retained. Westfield's Grand Park Sports Campus has a new name. Grand Park Sports and Entertainment announced today a naming rights agreement with Droplight, an Indianapolis-based venture studio that helps launch startups, to rename the 400-acre property Droplight Grand Park Sports Campus. The length and financial terms of the agreement were not disclosed. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
While the government shutdown could be coming to an end, November benefits for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program are being distributed only in part in Indiana, leaving tens of thousands of residents across the South Bend Elkhart region facing food insecurity and local service providers racing to respond. Beacon Health System launched a system-wide food relief collaborative to distribute meals directly through its hospitals and food pantry outlets. Kimberly Green-Reeves is Executive Director of Community Impact at Beacon.
Getting food into families' homes is a need across our region. And so we wanted to ensure that during this very critical time that, and truth be told, around the holiday season, that we're able to help our community. This work closely aligns to our mission of delivering outstanding care, inspiring health, and connect with heart, and we want to be on the right side of that.
The collaborative plans to distribute hundreds of pre-made or frozen meals per week at Elkhart General Hospital and Memorial Hospital of South Bend in partnership with Cultivate Food Rescue and the Food Bank of Northern Indiana. 3 paintings from famously mellow public television legend Bob Ross sold Tuesday for more than $600,000 at auction. The works, all painted in Indiana, were the first of 30 Ross paintings to be sold to benefit public TV stations hurt by cuts in federal funding. At the live auction in Bonhams in Los Angeles, a serene snow vista called Winter's Peace that Ross painted entirely during a 1993 episode of The Joy of Painting went for $318,000 to a bidder on the phone. Ross starred in 400 episodes of The Joy of Painting, which aired over 31 seasons from 1983 to 1994. All but the first season of the show were filmed and produced at WIPB TV studios in Muncie. World War II journalist Ernie Pyle is being honored in his hometown of Dana with a new bronze sculpture. The sculpture was unveiled on Veterans Day this week on the grounds of the Ernie Pyle World War II Museum, which opened in 1995 and has brought visitors from around the world to the Hoosier State. Steve Key is president of the board of directors for the Friends of Ernie Pyle.
It helps put Dana on the map. I mean, Dana is a very small, little farm town. And so, I think it's a point of pride for people who live in not only Dana, but Vermilion County.
The new sculpture also serves as an anchor for the Ernie Pyle and Veterans Memorial Park, which remains under construction. Central Indiana Corporate Partnership CEO Melina Kennedy is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
Off the Record with Indiana's 250 most influential business and community leaders is a podcast that peels back the curtain on Indiana's most respected leaders, one episode at a time. Go beyond the headlines and hear the stories of grit and innovation that shape these leaders. If you want to know who's driving our state forward, this is a must listen. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts or at ibjpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.